As I say in the morning to this video does contain a chicken story. All the best stories do, and all the best live videos contain chicken stories. So I sit here today having spent the day creating Greek sausage for my Greek husband, whose birthday it is today. It's my very first time making loukanika. If you don't know what loukanika is, you can look it up. I don't know exactly how to spell it, but I always search for Louk, and then I kind of sound out the rest, and then usually I get corrected and it gives me the right recipe. So loukanika, or loukaniko if you have only one. So I made that today for my first time. It took me about 7 hours of hard work. It was really, really hard, and I did it. But that's not the story I was going to tell you. By the way, for those of you who are wondering, I have not passed into the afterlife. Somebody asked me that last night on a prayer call. Are you still on this side with the rest of us, or have you passed on to glory? Because I know I'm surrounded by white. I am not in glory. I kind of wish I was, but I am glorying in my current circumstances because I know that in all things, God works together for the good of those who love him. So I'm pretty excited about that bit. And I know that glory is coming. But no, I'm not in heaven. In fact, if I change my background, it can probably look like hell. And if you saw the mess in the room around us, you may also wonder exactly where I am. So I'm going to leave the nice, clean white background on. I want to share with you a story. I cannot get this out of my heart today. I really feel compelled to come on here because I have a message for some of y'all. And here's my chicken story. Okay, so many of you know that I'm a little bit protective of my chickens. I care about them a whole lot. You know, to me, they're not just animals or birds that lay my breakfast every morning, although it's pretty cool when they do. I love that part, but I've come to care about them. I've raised them since they were a day old. They all have personalities. They all have, a reaction to me that's different. One of them, like Chuck, runs away from me completely off to the other side every time I try to approach, and then Fluffy will bounce on my lap and just sit there for hours. And so I love these guys because they are very unique and special. So one of the things that I want to do because I care about them is to protect them. And it is absolutely freaking ridiculous how many threats there are to chickens. You have no idea. So, we figured we got the coyote problem solved because we put up an electric fence that will keep them safe during the day. Well, then today we figure out, oh, there's something called a mink and then a weasel, and they can fit through a 7/8 inch hole. And they'll go in just to kill chickens, and they'll kill a whole bunch of them if they move, when chickens always do move. So anyway, so now we're stressing about how to protect them from mink and from uh, um, weasels. So that's our new project. Oh, it's crazy. But anyway, so we put up this electric fence, and it's funny because we have the whole area. So they have their coop, they have their run, and then outside the coop and the run, they have an area that we now have fenced off, which is kind of good because they were really getting everywhere, including the neighbor's yard. Not such a great thing when they have to cross the road to get there. But they were getting everywhere, kind of pooping everywhere, which, is kind of cute at the beginning. And you're like, oh, look, they poop there. And then not so cute when they get bigger because the poop gets bigger. So we have them in an area, which is great. But what we know is that when they're in that area, they're only there because they are surrounded by this electric fence. Now you have to know the electric fence is 4 feet high, not that high, because they don't know it, but they can fly. And the reason I say they don't know it is because it is incredible to me how they just go around and around and around on the outskirts of the fence looking for a way out. And of course they can't find one because we're smart and we, hem them in on every side so that they're protected. But my husband said to me, about a week ago after we put the fence up, this is only going to last until they figure out that they can fly over the fence. And I'm like, well, thank God that they can't figure that out. But today, one of them, and it's Patience. So it's always Patience. She's a red one. She's a, I think a Rhode Island red is the kind of chicken she is. She's always gone off on her own. She's always the explorer. I don't know why we call her Patience, because she's anything but anyway, Patience. She decides that she's going to fly over the fence. Doesn't she fly over it? completely on her own. Well, then we put her back in and, we thought, okay, well, it was just a fluke. A couple of them are gathered around one of the chairs that we had out there. We saw them congregating and I'm sitting there kind of being like the narrator of the story, like, hey guys, let's try to get over the fence. Oh, let's send that one over there and see if she gets electrocuted. And I'm like literally playing out this. I, I was trying to take a break from making sausages. Okay. Like I was going sausage crazy. So anyway, then I see all of them run away except for Patience. And now she's on the chair. And so like, I'm literally narrating what's in her mind. And she's like, oh, I'm on a chair. I know what I can do. I can use the chair to catapult me, to kind of give me that little advantage to get over the fence. Well, doesn't she do it again? And she goes up so high, she clears the fence by a good 3 feet, like seriously, really, really high. And I'm like, dang, she did good. But but what I was thinking as I was looking at, Patience going over the fence and us putting her back in there, what I was thinking of is, isn't this an example of us as people? We are surrounded by a 4-foot electric fence that we could literally fly over. But what we do is we spend our time looking down on the ground, searching on the ground, looking on the ground, going around the perimeter, around the perimeter, around the perimeter, and we can't find our way out. And yet all of the things that we're really looking for are on the other side of the fence. Now, we can apply this in a lot of different contexts, but I want to speak especially to those of you who have let your dreams die. Now, I know what it's like to feel like there is no hope. I know what it's like to feel like I'm on the inside of the fence and I am never getting over this fence. Listen, I was the kid who would sit on the bottom stair terrified to go up the stairs to empty my bladder. And I would sit there for hours waiting for my mom to come home because I was afraid of the dark. And then my mom would come home, she'd turn on the light and I would race to the bathroom. And the only difference before and after was that the light went on. But I was the kid too terrified to turn the light on. I was the one whose mom said, when you grow up, you're going to work for your father. Well, that might be great for some people, but my father, the people that worked for him were sex workers. And so I didn't have a lot of, hope spoken into me. I was the kid who, when they would select, who's going to be on whose team at school for baseball, for soccer, for any sport, I was the last one. It was usually me and the fat kid. And they didn't pick me, not because I was the fat kid, I was skinny, but they knew I was no good at sports. I was always the last one picked. Nobody wanted me on their team. Guys, I know what it's like to lack any kind of sense that I have an ability to accomplish and yet feel a burning inside of me, knowing that I am meant for so much more than what I was living. I know what it's like to be a mom that is immersed in changing diapers and knowing and feeling like my only options were either being a stay-at-home mom or going back to a job, which I was so grateful for. I mean, I was a 6-figure income earner. I was a tax specialist because I worked really, really hard all the way through school and really, really hard for the CPA exams. I know what it's like, though, to feel like those were my only 2 options, and I did not love my job. So I stayed home. But then I didn't love feeling like I wasn't living my purpose. And I felt stuck, and I was in my 40s, and I felt like my best years were behind me. I know what it's like to feel like you're inside that fence and you don't know how to fly over, and you don't believe you can. This period of time, the past 6 months, has been the demolition of so many goals and dreams. We've seen suicides increase, more people getting on antidepressants, more people getting on anti-anxiety meds. I don't want that for you. Nobody needs to live like that. You need to know there is hope. You need to know that it's possible. You need to know that there are people who are rooting for you. Give me a call. I will help you in whatever way I can. Now, listen, I know that I'm in direct sales business, and I know that, network marketing has this, thing that goes with it, this aura, this, preconceived notions about what we are about and who we are, and lots of judgments are being made. And I know that because I used to be one of them. And I'm not saying that you need to be part of my business in order for me to help you, but I will say this. I have helped more people through my business financially, physically, emotionally, and spiritually than any other time in my life. When I was a cell group leader at church, not even close to what I'm able to do now to help support people in every single possible way. I am connected to a powerful group of people who support me and encourage me, and people that I pour into on a daily basis. There are days where at the end of the day, I've got nothing left to say. I have everything drained out of me because I've been on call after call after call of speaking life into people who have given up on themselves, even just temporarily. And I need to remind them of who they are and what they're capable of. So this is what I do. On Thursday of this coming week, on Thursday at 8 o'clock, I'm doing a webinar for my business. If you want to understand what it's like to do this kind of business, even if not mine, but at least direct sales business, if you want to understand about that, send me a message, comment below. I'll send you the Eventbrite link. But whatever you do, whether it's this kind of business or whether it's a dream you have to open up a retreat center, or whether it's a dream you have to get involved in a different kind of business, maybe you have a product idea that you want to launch, whatever it is, don't give up on your dreams. You can fly over the 4-foot electric fence. Every time you go near that fence, you get burnt. Every time you go there, that is the edge, right? And you feel like you can't go any further. That's what fear is, but it's just a 4-foot fence that you can fly over. So hear my words, be encouraged today, be full of hope today. You are called for more, you can do more. COVID has nothing on you. God's purposes have not stopped. His gifts and his call are irrevocable. You have a purpose, you have a destiny, you have a plan. God wants great things for you. And whatever I can do to support that, I would be honored. Just don't give up. The world needs you. There's too many people who give up. And when they give up on themselves, they give up on all the people that they're meant to impact. We are not islands. We are much more like a spider web. And when you think you can just take out one little part of the spider web and nothing else will be affected, no. You take out one little part of the spider web and a massive impact all the way through the spider web. Don't give up. You've got this. You just got to fly. Bless you, friend.